Capitalism and socialism are such misused terms nowadays, it is important to remember on occasion that at their theoretical hearts remain two ideas which have been completely suffocated by the abomination of political systems that cloak themselves in these titles. The ideas of a true free market, or for the workers to actually control the means of production, have been twisted and misrepresented into meaninglessness. All that remains in the minds of most individuals is the vague concept that these are polar opposite ideologies that cannot be reconciled. The point of this video is to show that with only a slight, if critical, change of perception, that these two core ideas can not only coexist, but harmonize for the betterment of society. What exactly are the means of production? At its most basic, we are talking about land, the basis for all material things. Everything we have and ever will have. What is on it, what flows over it, and what is under it. Land is the fundamental means of production. Without it we have nothing, a finite resource that has been the basis for conflict, time immortal. Who controls land and under what conditions is the fundamental basis for all social interactions. Property rights in all their perverse historical forms, from its ownership by kings or the church all the way up to the modern free market. The right of individuals to own land and use it as wished dictate much of how our culture develops and functions. And all of these previous iterations seem to come into direct conflict with the idea of the worker controlling the basic means of production. But what is control exactly? Most would think of it as ownership, that being that land is under either private or public ownership. But even private owners are subject to obligations in the form of council rates and other taxes, etc. And here is the point where a change of perception is required. As stated before, land itself is the means of production. The value of land is a creation of society itself. Land's location to population centers, the infrastructure and capabilities and desires of the people around it all dictate the desirability of the land and therefore its value. A tax on land value alone, and not what is built or developed on this land, therefore actually represents the workers controlling the means of production. It is in effect the equivalent of society renting out land to private individuals who wish to use it. Exemptions from this land value tax for a person's primary residence, for example, would ensure everyone's right to a piece of our world, while also ensuring ownership beyond this amount is done to everyone's advantage. To discuss all of the benefits of the land value tax is outside the scope of this video. Please click on the link in the description below to view one of my other videos discussing land value tax fully for further information. The point of this video is to hopefully provide a different point of view in regards to the ideas of obligation, taxes and ownership in such a way that people realize that a land value tax is much more than just a tax, but actually represents a type of social rent on land, specifically the value of that land. The free market mechanisms of private ownership and the legal rights to land are in this way not changed for those seeking to use this land productively and for the benefit of all. Only those who hoard land or use it unproductively as a wealth storage bank for speculation purposes or to create artificial scarcity will find these practices almost impossible after the introduction of the land value tax, freeing up this underutilized land for those wishing to develop it for private or commercial use. The land value tax has been described by many of the great free market promoting economists as the least bad tax, as it is not a tax on productivity, but on something gifted by society as a whole, the value of raw, undeveloped land itself. Land value tax is much more than a tax, but society's control over the means of production that true socialists hold as one of their core ideals. Something that doesn't require the removal of the benefits of the free market, nor the inefficiencies of a bloated bureaucracy to implement to the benefit all of society. The land value tax promotes the best of the free market ideals, while simultaneously granting society the true control over the means of production.